Hello guys, welcome back to Custom Gamer, and today we've got another thing that's a little bit different. So I was browsing Reddit today and I saw this post in r/gaming about this little game called Starforge by Code Hatch Software, and it kind of caught my eye as they said it was a procedurally generated FPS which was kind of a mix between Minecraft and Halo. And the first thing I noticed is that it's got an amazing sense of physicality to it. Check this out. You practically feel like you've broken your own neck when that happens. It's got this amazing sense of, yeah, like I mentioned, physicality to the world, and the physics system's really nice. And, the way the player camera moves when you get flung through the air is just absolutely fantastic. It's some of the best feeling movement and flying I've seen in an FPS to date, I think, which is amazing because this isn't alpha version of the software. This is like version 0.1, I think. It's a free alpha that you can download. The link is in the description. So as you can see here, you can place blocks and build them just like Minecraft. You don't need to collect materials or anything. You can just build it directly into the world, and there are a couple of different tile sets available. This wooden one's kind of the default basic one. Anyone that's played Minecraft is probably familiar with how this works, though it is a bit fiddly to kind of move around and create the shapes you want at the moment. It's quite difficult to build proper three-dimensional shapes. I think the movement code doesn't help much here because it's quite hard to jump on top of things. If you jump while not moving, it's very hard to get any forward momentum. But I got the hang of it eventually, so we can start building some proper structures now. As you can see here, like as you build 3D structures, you get kind of support struts in between your blocks, and it adds bits of detail automatically. It's pretty clever. You can see all the wooden supports got added when it reached the floor there. And of course everything's fully dynamically lit, and I've got to say, for an alpha version of this software from an indie dev, the graphics are really amazing. I mean, obviously it's alpha software, so it's not optimized or anything like that at the moment, so if you do download this, be prepared for bad frame rates and things like that, but it looks fantastic. This is another really neat feature. You've got this graphical interface that pops up to let you change tile sets. It reminds me a lot of the Dead Space games, where you have the GUI is actually an element in the world that you can interact with. That's very nice. As you can see here, we've got some kind of wooden tile set. So you can delete things as well. And there's a couple of different tile sets. I'm not quite sure what all the icons at the top mean right now, but again, everything is alpha and subject to change and improvement. So this tile set's kind of interesting because it creates physics props as you place the tiles down that you can actually interact with, which is quite cool. Just go and knock myself out on the wood there. So yeah, I'm just kind of messing around, building a little fort at the moment, having a look at all the different tile sets. This one's interesting as well. It's kind of Martian ground texture with some like bushes and things like that. Now, at the moment, all these blocks are kind of separate from the world. I don't think you can kind of paint the grass different textures and things like that. I'm sure they'll add that in a later version. And you'll notice like all the strange looking formations in the background. As far as I can tell, all the actual terrain is done with voxels. And if you have no idea what a voxel is, it's essentially a 3D pixel. And you can generate three-dimensional shapes with them. And I'm not exactly an expert on voxels, but it lets you do kind of this with it. They're very easy to kind of shape and form. So this is the digging tool that you have in the game. Left click digs downwards and right click kind of digs away from where you're pointing, so you can kind of make your own cave systems and things like that. Again, very Minecraft style, just more advanced. And again, alpha is alpha, so just keep in mind that this is like the first public release ever of this game. So, but it's very, very cool. You could create 3D tunnel systems and whatnot. And again, it looks really nice. So I'm going to keep tunneling down here and I actually reach the end of the world here. So this is something I want to talk about because this is something that caught my eye in the games. Like, the entire world is procedurally generated, so it's essentially infinite. Obviously in this demo it isn't, because it's kind of a public test. But in the full game, the world is completely procedurally generated. Yeah, that hurt. Yeah, a bit buggy here. But yeah, so essentially there's infinite landmass, and that includes going into the air as well. You can actually fly into space, and it will generate procedurally generated space as well, I assume. I don't know whether you can go to other planets that way, but in the video that I saw, there's like spaceships you can get into and fly around, and all these kind of crazy things. It's not in this preview build, which is unfortunate. I was really looking forward to that, but what is here is certainly very interesting. So yeah, I'm very, very proud of my creation here. It's a work of art. This is the other feature that's in the demo. You can place turrets around your base once you've made it. You get those auto turrets there and these larger rocket turrets. Again, alpha is alpha, so things can get a bit crazy. So we're just going to place a few defences around our base, and then we can get to the final feature of this alpha, which is the enemies and the combat. So you'll notice I do have a gun. It does work. So yeah, I've just spawned some enemies using the 0 key, and all the turrets start firing automatically. This is where things get a little bit nuts. Again, nothing is really optimised at the moment, so once a bunch of enemies show up, the frame rate kind of tanks, and the audio gets a bit strange. Obviously, I'm sure this will be looked at and fixed in future builds. Now, what is it with the spiders? Developers, giant spiders, oh, it drives me mad. You can see here again, like being thrown around is so much fun in this game. It feels brilliant. It's like if you've ever been recording footage on a handycam, and if you drop it by accident, you get that kind of hollow metallic clunk as it in the recording as it gets thrown along the ground. And that's exactly the kind of feeling you get from this game when you get thrown around. Yeah, it's just it's fantastic. Even the sound effects, it's all kind of distorted, and feels like it hasn't been compressed or anything like that, so you just get this huge distortion when you land. It sounds brilliant. And if that's a bug, like the sound effect distorting like that, I'd say keep it, because it does a brilliant job of selling the impact effect. So yeah, these spinners you can spawn in as well using I think it's the 7 and 8 keys to spawn these spinners. And there's a vertical one and a horizontal one, as you can see in the distance there, spinning around. And if you right click with the rifle out, you can go to slow-mo like this, which is quite fun. So yeah, I had loads of fun just placing all these different spinners everywhere and just running into them and watching myself go flying. I've got a quick montage of that in a moment. Yeah, there's a couple of different enemies in this alpha. You can see the frame rate starting to tank a bit now. Anyway, moving on. This was me just having fun with the spinners and the physics system. But yeah, I can't think of any other game which has just sold me on the impact effects as much as this. Considering this is the first public alpha, it's amazing. I love it. I could just get hit by things all day. So obviously there's a bit of strangeness going on with like the full body model, which you can see when you're in first person. Kind of clips through the camera like that, but you know, these are all things that can be fixed. But as it stands, it's just fantastic. So here's me trying to deal with some more spiders. Didn't quite go according to plan, so I'm going to try and set up a trap here. The spider gets twatted there. Now let's see if we can get this other guy. Yep. So it's essentially a sandbox FPS, which is something I've been looking forward to a long time. A proper FPS with, you know, decent physics system, weapons, everything like that. Minecraft didn't really scratch the itch for me there. I mean, it was fun for a day or two, but just kind of got bored of it after a while. But this looks like, you know, it's actually got some proper gameplay in there that you can experience, and it just looks like a ton of fun. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Check the description below this video, there's a download link. I believe the developers said they were taking their download on their site offline because there's been so much traffic, but there is a torrent available which should be fairly seeded by now, so if you have a torrent program, download that instead. And of course there's probably mirrors all over the place by now as well, so I'm sure if you do a Google search you'll find it. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll be back with some more map stuff pretty soon.